Hi, David again from concertblogger.com. Today I have the wonderful privilege to be here with Janet Devlin, a Northern Ireland singer, songwriter, all-around musician in so many different ways. And thank you so much for taking some time out to sit down and talk to us.
No, thank you for coming all the way here.
Yeah. We're downtown New York. I made sure to get the New York skyline in the background here a little bit.
Of course.
Is this your first time in New York?
This is my second time in New York, actually. I only came here about 3 weeks ago for my first time ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it really is almost your first time here, if it was only 3 weeks ago.
Pretty much. I feel like I never left. So.
New York has that effect on people, I think. What's your favorite part of New York so far that you've experienced?
I've loved every single part of it. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't gone somewhere and gone, oh, I hate this. Everything has just been. I think it's all because it's all so new.
It's also new
I love it.
and a little bit bigger than your hometown of Gorton.
Yeah, Gorton's just you could probably fit the population of Gorton in the smallest building in New York. There's no one. So yeah, this is quite different.
And here you are. Look at that. You've come from, you give hope to all the aspiring singers and songwriters in their bedrooms in their small little towns, to know that in the blink of an eye they can be in New York City and doing what they love and being a successful musician.
Yeah, I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty cool to think about.
Great. So now, growing up, you had 3 older brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a little story that I'd seen that you used to have to take the bus to the record store.
Yeah.
What kind of influence did your older brothers and their music have on your music? Was that something that you got from them, or did you just come up with your own musical style and tastes?
We were all babysat by my cousins. I had 4 older cousins that used to just take turns in babysitting us, and they all had pretty cool music tastes. I remember being I think I was about 5, and the Chili Peppers were playing Slane Castle, and I remember being so annoyed that I couldn't go. I remember
really?
just going ape at my cousins, why would you not take me? Why would you not get a ticket? Obviously I wasn't old enough to go.
Of course.
But
at the time you don't realize that.
You don't realize that, but they got these blank t-shirts, and they got the arts and crafts out, so they let me design their Chili Peppers t-shirts.
Oh, that's so cool.
So.
That's so cool. What other bands have been an influence on you? I know you did, not to get ahead of ourselves, but I know on your new album you have a Smiths cover, I believe? Or a Cure cover?
The
Cure cover. I know it was one of those 2 bands. I always get those 2 bands mixed up. I have no idea why.
Musical influences. I mean, my babysitters were the Chili Peppers, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, and all of that side of the spectrum. So
that's where it comes from. That's where the bass.
Yeah, your rock breakfast really, and then
your rock. That's great.
My parents were into country. So that's where I get, I think, the storytelling part of my music from.
Okay.
I used to competitively horse ride, so it meant really long car rides. And my dad used to be really into country, so I used to listen to country for 6-7 hours. And then I used to listen to just I don't know, I went through that teenage rebellion phase where all I wanted to listen to was heavy metal and stuff. So.
The one thing was actually, it was a great story that I'd read about how you wanted, when you were a child, you wanted a set of drums because you were really into all sorts of music, and that's how you started to sing.
Yeah.
Or at least sing in front of people.
Yeah, I started playing drums when I was 14 or 15, and I was really, really excited about it, and I just enjoyed it so much. And then I seen that there's a few singing competition stuff going on locally, and you could win money. And I'd asked my parents, can I get a drum kit? And they were no. But I understand why. It was because I was a child that picked up a hobby and dropped it really, really fast.
And that's a big investment on something that maybe if you weren't going to stick with it.
Yeah, it was quite expensive. So I went and did these singing competitions, which I never won, but sometimes I placed. And there was always prize money.
I cannot imagine how you could not win.
I never won one.
They were fixed. They were all fixed.
So I gathered up all my money, and luckily by that Christmas I had enough money to get myself a drum kit.
You did get the drum kit. That was my next question, as to whether or not you actually got there.
I earned it. I earned that drum kit.
That's awesome. I guess it's true, the saying, necessity is the mother of invention. And I guess it actually has paid dividends for all of your fans, in that maybe you wouldn't have gotten up and started to sing, but I have a feeling that you eventually would have.
It actually is really funny because that's how I got into the singing. Wasn't really the singing competitions. It was the fact that I took my best friend along to one of them, and she's like, "You have to do more with your voice. You have to get out there with it." And she bought me a video camera, and she gave me this video camera for Christmas under the terms that I post videos on YouTube.
Really, that was exactly the next thing. It's the power of social media.
Yeah.
It's so funny that there's so many new and rising artists that I get to meet in my job, and that seems to be the one thread of, I started posting videos on YouTube, and I think that it makes it so much easier to find yourself as an artist when you have something to look at and to critique and to make yourself better or worse or change this or do that differently, and you can actually see it. And then when you think, I'm putting it online for everyone to see, that's a whole nother thing too.
Yeah, I think my first YouTube video was when I was 15, and it's so cringeworthy now because most people got to live their teenage years and never have them documented.
Yeah, your generation, that's it.
All over the internet, and it's just okay, I'm cringing, oh great.
That's but that's, I think, the reality of every one of the up and coming generations is that it is a different world. I think the world is changing so very, very fast, and it has such a big impact on the music industry, and how it's completely different than just 10 years ago in the way that you went about your business and how you made money as a singer. And now it's not that same way anymore.
Absolutely.
And it's really one of my little phrases I like to say, it's DIT instead of DIY. For a while it was DIY with do it yourself, but now it's do it together. So you do things with other bands that are in your area or geographically, and you help each other. You learn mistakes. Maybe one band makes a mistake and you know not to make that mistake. Maybe you do something that works really well, and you could pass that on to your other contemporaries and such. So it seems like one of the things I read is that you have a very huge fan base very quickly, and they even have a nickname.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
What is the nickname of your fan base?
I remember just logging into Twitter one day and everyone just calling themselves Devlinators.
Devlinators, huh?
Yeah, so I was like, alright, cool.
That's good, I'll go with that. I'll go with that, that works.
So they call themselves Devlinators.
That's great. You have this built in. That's actually very rare nowadays to have a specific group of people pick you up at such an early stage in your development as an artist and in your career.
Yeah.
And that's such a great thing, though.
Yeah, the earlier days was even weirder, before the TV, before all of that. I had 15,000 YouTube subscribers. Just
really?
Standing in my front room singing.
Well, I guess that really kind of shows you a little bit about the talent that you really have, because I think that really stands out in that people have very short attention spans, and unless you're giving something to them that they really enjoy, they just are on to the next channel. And to get that many followers really quickly, it just, I think, really shows a little bit about what you bring to the table.
I hope so.
So that's great. It's great that you have this, a group of people that are dedicated to your vision, and it really kind of, I think, makes you a little bit more in touch, a little bit more closely.
Yeah, I ask them all the time. I'm always, I understand that they are the ones that are the ones getting the content, receiving the content. So I ask them all the time, what do you want? The other day it was just design a new merch. What do you want to see?
Yeah.
What do you want to own?
That's really great in that you've got this built-in group of people to tell you, and they'll be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and it's also for live gigs and even online shows. It's what song do you want to hear? I've got rehearsals tomorrow. What song do you want me to learn and play it for you? So it's really cool.
It's really more of an interactive. The social media end of it just makes everything everyone's so much closer. I remember when I was young back in the day, there was always this distance, this gap between the artist and the fan, and now it's not there anymore.
No, because you can directly send a message.
You can send a message from someone on the other side of the world in Singapore can talk to you right now instantly.
Yeah.
And that's just such an amazing, powerful thing. Yeah. And it's powerful for the fans too to feel that connection to you.
Yeah.
So you've just recorded, you started out with the YouTube stuff, but now you've gotten to the point where you've just recorded an LP, a full LP that just was released, titled Running with Scissors. Why don't you tell me about that and how it came about and what the recording process and such was?
Wow. Well, it's actually quite a long story, but I'll try and cut it down. I made an album and then didn't like it, so then I made another album. But I didn't release the first one. So
you'll be like Prince. All sorts of stuff in the vault.
We'd set this date, so I needed to get an album out. So after I'd binned the first one, it was like, yeah, you got 6 weeks to make a new album. So I was like, okay. So we all sat down, and I sat down, and we managed to figure out this plan of how to get an album done in 6 weeks, and we did it. Killed a couple people along the way, I think. They'll never be the same again. But it was so good because after you make a record and then you don't use it, you're used to the songs. They don't mean as much. Whereas these, my producers, Graham Pleath and Lee Mack, were just so good. They were I remember one specific story of recording a song called Things Lost in the Fire, and obviously I'd sang it quite a lot before because I even toured that first album. So
oh really?
Yeah.
You did that? You didn't release?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I obviously had become a bit desensitized to some of the tracks because I'd been doing them so much. So my producers got me in the room to stand there, and this song is a breakup song. So got me in the room, and I sit there, and they're like, right, okay, now you gotta imagine your ex-boyfriend is standing in that corner, and you're gonna sing this song to him. And it was really hard because there are a lot of things in that song that I never actually told him to his face. So I remember, I think that's how I learned that singing on the verge of tears is a really hard thing to do. But
that control that you have to have.
Yeah, it was really hard. But I think it paid off because I listened to that song and I do feel like the emotion is forever
right
going to
there.
be encapsulated in that song.
It was actually captured, the deeper part of the song.
Definitely.
That's great. Are there any other highlights of the album that you wanted to talk about?
Highlights of this album. There's so
or there
many.
Is there how about this? Is there any kind of a theme that runs through the album?
That it's all personal. I carry these song books around with me, these lyric books. I think that's the common thread between the whole album is that, because it's all poetry from these books, all stories that I've always wanted to tell, but just told with music instead of just reading them.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So you're 19 years old, I believe.
20 now.
20 now.
Yeah.
So
double digits and the 2.
Crooked numbers. Crooked numbers.
I'm 20 is what I'm calling it. 20 because.
So you have so much ahead of you, and really, what are you most excited for? Is it the travel, the meeting of the other great artists? 'Cause I'm sure you're starting to get to that point where you're meeting all these people that maybe you would never think that you would have met.
Yeah.
Or is it having your music reach countless people that you'd never ever be able to see?
This is the weird thing about my life, I suppose now. That it's just everything is so exciting that days off are just. I just don't like them because there's so much you can do. I love the idea that I'm already starting to write for the next album, and I'm already started writing Christmas songs.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, so I've already started writing, and that is really exciting. But also the fact that the album there's people out there that still haven't heard the album, obviously, and the prospect of people actually listening to it is just really, really exciting. But also gigging and everything that comes along with this job. It's just insane and I love it. So everything.
So how can your fans find you, just in case they have an unstoppable desire to become Devlinators?
Alrighty, well I'm on, I suppose the best way is go janetdevlin.com, and you've got all the little social media things. So
everything goes through your website.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr.
Well, what are you on Twitter, so?
Twitter is @JanetJealousy.
Janet Jealousy.
Yeah, and Facebook is /the Janet Devlin.
The Janet Devlin. Okay, well, great. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out to talk to us. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you in one of the local music halls here very, very soon.
Fingers crossed.
Thanks.